Hello there. In this video, I'm going to look at the Audi website and see if I was going to order a Q4 now, what would I do differently? What spec would I go for? When you first go in, the default one that's picked is the Q4 35 first edition, which is about £48,770 in the UK. Now that places it kind of slightly towards the bottom end of the specs. If you have a look, the first model there is 42,575. The top model is getting on 66,000, almost 77,000, which is a big difference between that and the bottom of the range. If I was ordering now, I wouldn't bother with the 50 model because I don't really need the extra performance, although it would be nice. I probably would go for the slightly bigger battery on the 40 model rather than the 35. Because I don't have a home charger, it's more convenient if I only have to charge once a week or once every 2 weeks. So, looking at the 40 models, the Sport comes on 19s and has a cloth interior, but it doesn't come with the tinted windows. So I'd probably go for the S-Line model again. We'll have a look at the other models later on, but let's have a look at the 40 S-Line just now, which is what I've got. So base price for this is now 48,915. The model I've got is the S-Line 40 in Typhoon Grey. That's the only option I've picked. So it comes, everything else is standard. Has the S-Line interior with a part leatherette, part cloth. Still on the high-backed sports seats. I've gone for Typhoon Grey. The only other colour I really would consider would be Aurora Violet, because I think that looks pretty cool. Typhoon Grey is what I've got, and I'm quite happy with it. I've got it on the standard 20-inch wheels, but I have seen a couple of cars going about with the painted 20s, which are a cheap option. So I'd probably get the £150 option and go for the painted wheels, just because the dark look really suits the S-Line. I also like the tinted windows, really handy for when you've got dogs and kids in the back. I probably wouldn't bother with the leather interior. The seats are exactly the same. They're still not electric seats, manual adjustable, so I don't think I'd go for the twin leather for 800 quid. Comfort sound pack would be nice to have a reversing camera and the kind of parking assistant plus and adaptive cruise control, but I don't really need any of that. I don't go anywhere where I need adaptive cruise control because I've got quite a short commute. The tech pack with the heads-up display and the virtual cockpit plus. I don't really need the heads-up display because I've got the virtual cockpit. The extra USB-Cs in the back might have been handy, but I've got two in the front anyway. Suspension with damper control and heat pump. Again, I don't think my usage justifies the cost of that. I'm not doing huge amounts of miles in the winter. I'm not going on twisty roads all the time. I would consider the Matrix LED headlights, not because the headlights are poor, but because they do that cool lighting up and sweeping on the indicators and things like that. It just looks pretty cool. Tow bar, don't need. The wall mounted bracket for £120 just to screw that on at the wall, don't think so. £1,100 for slightly different cover on the seats, nah. Function pack is nets on the back of your seat and clips in the cup holders for 300 quid, really? Nah, I don't think I'd bother. It does give you the variable height boot floor, but that just robs you some height from the boot, which isn't great for my dogs, so we'll just leave that. Ambient lighting plaque plus, so I can change the colour of the interior lights. Lovely, but pointless. The fancy steering wheel with the pedals for regen, I'd consider that, but I'm not sure if that shape would just annoy me for a bit. I'd like to try it and get a feel for it. Coloured stitching, wouldn't bother with. The assistance pack with adaptive cruise control, I don't think I need that for my commute. Same with the safety package plus. I'm not doing anything where like the pre-send stuff would be much benefit to me. And the rest of the stuff that's on there is additional warranties, which I don't need because of the way I'm getting the car through salary sacrifice. There are a stack of accessories available for it. So starting off with the wheels, there's a dynamic center caps and valve covers. Nah. Different lights for a different light show when you open the doors to change it from the one that's already there, I presume. For £125, you can have different designs. Nah. Different key covers for your key, which lives in your pocket most of the time anyway, for £42. Don't think so. Not for me. I am considering the transport options, so roof rack for my kayaks and things. I wouldn't bother with the roof boxes, but I might get a roof rack from them at some point. I don't really need a bicycle carrier. I could just put that on the roof rack, so we'll ignore that. Child seats, again, past that stage, don't need that. I would definitely consider getting the all-weather mats because the carpet mats are terrible, really nasty. I wouldn't bother with any of the luggage stuff or the mud flaps. And that's quite an expensive way to get dash cam. And the espresso maker, I'm quite tempted by that just because that would be quite cool. So, having a look at different specs then, if we move up to the Edition 1, it does have some more stuff. So, the bits over the wheel arches are body coloured on the first edition, and the front end's toned down a little bit. So, it's kind of blacked out a bit. But it does come in limited colours. So, there's 4 colours. It does have a different design of alloy wheel, but it's still a 20-inch, and there's a 21-inch as an option, which does look quite nice. Seats-wise, same seats again, but this time full leather, which does look pretty nice, but I'm not sure if it's worth the extra money. Not for me, anyway. Comfort sound pack is still an option. So, it does have the Sonos premium sound system. If you're really into your sound quality, maybe that's a good choice. It does have the Matrix LED lights as standard with the cool light show. The rest of this is all the same kind of options. Oh, you get the ambient lighting pack plus and the fancy steering wheel. Neither of which I'm completely sold on. Contrasting stitching in red. Yeah. And the rest of those options are exactly the same as they are in the S-Line. So you don't appear to get a huge amount extra for your money. But if you've got a first edition and you know of extra stuff that's not covered on here, please let me know in the comments. So that's about £5,000 extra for a first edition over the S-Line. You can then bump it up a bit further to 60,000 by going to the Vorsprung model for the same battery pack. So exactly the same underneath, but now we've got blacked out front end. We're back to having a bigger choice of colours and a choice of 2 different styles of 21-inch wheels, both of which look pretty cool. Interior wise, the seats look the same actually, but they now have the full fancy fine Napa leather with a kind of quilted look, which does look lovely. So adjustable suspension as standard, still no heat pump. It does have the fancy lights. That does mean you get 2 reverse lights, excellent. It doesn't have the seat netting. It does have the ambient lights though, and it does have the fancy steering wheel, if you're into that. Still have to pay extra for the stitching. It's got the assistance stuff as part of the spec. And then we're back onto the safety package again, standard on this one. Is it worth the jump up to that price though? That's the bit that would trouble me. So just to compare how they look, this is the 35 Sport. There's the S-Line, which has got slightly more distinctive front bumpers, a bit of silver trim up the side. First edition goes a bit more body coloured and darkened up the front. And then the Vorsprung on the 21s, blacked out on the front and over the wheel arches. Interior wise, that's a Sport up the top. Seats look the same as the S-Line, which is the middle one there. And the bottom one's the Vorsprung with the fancy leather. Steering wheels and dashboard look pretty much identical on all three models, apart from, if you look closely on the left there, there's extra buttons, 2 extra buttons on the Vorsprung. That appears to be the only difference on the interior that you can see, other than the colour of the trim above the vents and the screen on the passenger side, which seems to vary slightly between the models. To sum all that up then, I'd probably go for a 40 S-Line again, possibly with the wheels changed to be the painted ones, maybe with the steering wheel upgraded, possibly with the tech pack, but no guarantees I would actually go for that, because I don't think I'm using the car on the kind of journeys where I get any benefit from that. Same with the Matrix headlights. I'm not doing huge amounts of distance at night. I'd only want the Matrix headlights because they look cool, which I'm not sure that's a great reason for spending the money. That's all I've got for you today. Hopefully that's been helpful if you're thinking about getting a Q4 and you're not sure what specs you'd go for. If you've already got a Q4 and you've got a different opinion on that, please let me know in the comments. If you think something's been a great buy, great use, let me know. Thanks for watching. Remember to like and subscribe. I'll see you next time.